What is going on, guys? Kevin Cage here with another cryptocurrency update. We're going to be diving into the XRP price chart, the Bitcoin price chart, the Ethereum price chart, and a variety of other altcoins that have in fact been here since the previous bullish cycle. And if you find any of this information helpful today as you navigate throughout the cryptocurrency space, be sure to send this video over to family and friends. So first things first, on the left-hand side, we have the Ethereum price chart. Next, we have the Bitcoin price chart in the middle, and we have XRP on the right-hand side. These are all in the weekly time frame, and something to note is, since the previous cycle of Ethereum reaching its all-time high back in January of 2018, from the high to the low, we have reached these golden extensions, such as the 3.618 Fibonacci extension. Next up is Bitcoin. Funny enough, we did the same exact thing, almost a double top and almost reaching the full 4.236 Fibonacci extension. Now, following this whole concept, if you were to simply swing high, swing low, and buy anytime the asset was below the 236 Fibonacci retracement, your dollar cost average for Ethereum would be under $400. So if you simply just dollar cost averaged for several years, your average would be under $400, and even from $400 to current price today, you were up over 500%, which is a 6x return because it's 500% plus your initial investment. Not bad for a 6x in just a matter of a couple years. Now, if you were to follow that same type of framework for the Bitcoin price chart, and notice that XRP and a variety of other price charts that we'll dive into are all below their 236 Fibonacci retracements. So, Bitcoin. Hypothetically, if you were to simply just dollar cost average anytime you saw it below the 236 Fibonacci retracement of about $7,000, well, your average would be at 7K, and even at today's price point, you are still setting up hundreds of percent. So keep in mind, crashes happen. I know after the 50% crash that we just witnessed from this high, everybody's calling zero all over again, even a 51% drop. But newsflash, this is the cryptocurrency market. This happens often. I mean, even just a matter of a few months ago, we were at, a 54% drop, give or take. And even before that, what happened? Well, some of the biggest drops across the board. This was an 83, 84% drop. And we've seen many 70% drops in Bitcoin throughout the past 10 years. This is a 70% drop. Well, it typically goes on to rally extremely hard, so provided that you are investing into actual utility and not just pure hype and speculation, and focused on assets that are building, such as HBAR, Algorand, or any other asset, I'm going to be using XRP, XLM, and Zcash in this video as examples, mainly because they have plenty of price history and historical data to go off of. But keep in mind, there are plenty of assets out there that are 1 to 2 years old and have amazing futures as well. Like it or not, we are all speculators in this market, and that is where the opportunity is today before utility begins to drive this market. Quick refresher, the global stock market surpassed a $100 trillion market. Crypto is just over $1 trillion. Analysts are showing $10 trillion, $20 trillion, and $50 trillion projections in the future. And so back to Bitcoin, because I know I'm all over the place, we can see from the 236, let's just say you simply bought Bitcoin every time it was at the 236 instead of even below, you'd still be sitting up roughly 400% or a 5x return on your investment. Pretty powerful. Okay, well, something else to note is looking at XRP. It's not just XRP that is below the 236, guys. Yes, we're going head to head with the SEC. It is one of the biggest crypto lawsuits in history. And typically that's designed to scare the normal person, not financial advice. I don't care if you like XRP or not. I do because I've done my research. And I've done nearly 1,000 videos on this YouTube channel over the last 4 years covering cryptocurrency. So whether or not you're, super bullish or super bearish on XRP at 60 cents today, below the 236, which is at 85 cents. In long term, I'm not worried about anything that looks like this whatsoever, specifically XRP. So from the 236, let's just say your average was there, and worst case, we went to the 127, the very first gold extension I have. That's a 400% move or a 5x from today's prices. Okay, well, what if we reach, the 4.236? That's a 1,500% move or a 16x return. Now, some people want, 10x's overnight. That's just not realistic. I've had 10x returns, I've had 50x returns, and even a couple 100x returns with small money, unfortunately. But the thing is that this is possible. And guess what, guys? I've also been in 80% drawdown before in the market during crazy crashes, and it's not fun. But I'm going to show you a few other things on why I believe that XRP will recover out of this long term. And yes, of course, I want it to happen tomorrow, but that is just not realistic. So, XRP is below the 236 Fibonacci retracement. My overall macro thesis for holding an asset is simply dollar cost averaging as long as we're under here. I'm not going all in on Ethereum or Bitcoin or assets that are up thousands of % over the past few years. I'm focused on assets that are still well below their all-time high price, that have yet to do it. And typically, XRP and a lot of other altcoins are the last movers. And this is going off of historical data, looking at the past and doing our best to predict the future. It's always going to be different. History does not repeat, but it does rhyme. So just so you know, XRP is not the only alt that has not created an all-time high price. The funny thing is, it's the only alt that has not created an all-time high price that is still in the top 10 and is getting attacked by everybody and is still here and still improving liquidity. That is something I'm interested in, especially when you consider the top 10 Bitwise index and what that means for XRP's price in the future. Okay, well, let's look at Litecoin. So this asset, instead of just kind of playing around here, it actually challenged its previous all-time high price in 2021, but it crashed and is back below the 236. As we can see, another asset from the past, IOTA, swing high, swing low, made it to the 382, but guess what? Still below the 236. Same thing with Bitcoin Cash, a lot lower below the 236. Another example is Ethereum Classic. This asset is not below the 236. I know, of course, we have some wicks, but it actually did in fact explode, and it did exactly what Bitcoin, Ethereum, and dozens of others did. Created an all-time high price and reached these golden extensions at higher levels. So when I see this data, I'm wondering, does Zcash, does XLM, does XRP, do they all reach these golden extensions at some point? If they do in fact survive, I would assume they do. Whether you're looking at the lowest extension of $4 or the highest extension of about $14, $15. That's a massive range on the macro. You don't have to know every single price and what it's going to do exactly. The idea of investing is trying to buy something as low as possible and selling it as high as possible. The bottom line is, for any asset that has actual utility, growing volume, and also XRP made it to $3.84, almost $4 in 2018, before it had over 3 million wallets, before it was on all these exchanges, before on-demand liquidity was even live. And you guys have seen, I hope, reading Ripple's annual report about ODL usage and growing year over year. It's insane, so I can't just look the other way. We've seen more utility than ever before. We've been seeing more sidechains, NFT development, the huge fund for XRP. So much more utility, so much more development, and so much more positivity for this space that really validates the future of digital assets, whether that be for central bank digital currencies or anything in between. So this is a macro view to say, yes, guys, I believe in XRP. It is the black sheep of crypto for very good reason. Those that actually completely bash it have no idea how the tokenomics even function. They don't know how the escrow works. They don't even know how on-demand liquidity works. And the best part is, there are so many other organizations building on the XRP ledger. Now, what's super interesting is Zcash. And I know sometimes we do see assets reach these crazy wicks at some point. Now, I personally would be absolutely shocked if this ever happens, but it is funny to see that the 34 Fibonacci extension is actually at that wick perfectly. And the Fibonacci exists in everything. It's a mathematical ratio that exists in nature, music, and of course, charts. So from the high to the low, Zcash hit the 382, came back down, is still below the 236. But what's interesting about this is that Barry Silbert, one of the wealthiest men in the cryptocurrency market of Digital Currency Group, you may have heard of him, early investor in, Hedera, Ripple, all these other organizations, Coinbase, the infrastructure of crypto that we know today. They own about $30 million worth of Zcash. 30 million. Would Barry Silbert of Digital Currency Group, the epicenter of the cryptocurrency market, be shilling Zcash, ZEC is the ticker, on Twitter for fun? Would he really be jeopardizing his entire reputation on shilling one single privacy coin? I don't think so. What do I think? Tinfoil hat on, I think that Zcash will have some amazing price action in the future. I think that Barry Silbert knows something that we don't. I also think long-term, we're going to look back at these prices and seeing Zcash in the $80 range and going, man, I wish I bought some. Now, of course, just to measure this, because it's ROI. Now, keep in mind, I don't want to buy something up here. Now, of course, can it keep going? Can it go up another 2 or 3x? Yeah, probably. But I want to minimize my risk and buy as low as possible. So, if you're buying something up here, that's awesome. But, even if it does go to those top extensions, 2, 3x return, yeah, that's good in theory. But let's look at Zcash. From this low, below the 236, imagine having your DCA, your average entry price, well below $100, and even riding it up to the 702 of $600, that's almost a 600% return. What if we just challenge the previous all-time high price? It's at $900. That's close to a 10x return. But what if we reach a full 4.236 and we're close to $3,000 to $4,000 per Zcash long term at some point? That's when it gets crazy, and that's when you're looking at maybe a 40x return. $1,000 turns into $40,000. Definitely would be crazy. We're just looking at the prices, guys, but I just want you to consider ROI, the ruler tool, in measuring the return on investment. The price of an asset doesn't matter, whether it's $90 or 0.0001 of a penny. All that matters is the percent. Okay, so that's enough of the price charts. And also wanted to show the XRP price chart from the swing low to the swing high, 786, and those higher targets long term would show $2 to $3 and then even $7 to $10. This is just the Fibonacci. I've seen this play out so many times it's not even funny for a variety of alts. Now this is on the macro time frame as well on the weekly price chart. Just wanted to share that yes, I still do believe that we reach these prices at some point. I hate waiting just as much as the next guy. I cannot wait to come on YouTube and talk about positive price action, believe me. Now I really want to show this, guys. This is BTC Fuel on Twitter. Massive alt season imminent. And this is what a lot of us believe that have studied the cycles. This is not financial advice, but yes, I do believe in alt season. And I hope I showed you that, XRP, XLM, Zcash are positioned for a big move. I don't own any Litecoin, I probably should, but at the end of the day, I can't catch them all. But anyways, look at this chart. So he goes on to say, the Bitcoin dominance chart, altcoin D, right here, this chart, from the last cycle looks almost exactly as the same as the others, right here. So this is today, and this is the last cycle. Now I know that blockchain backer, I know a lot of people are showing this, Credible Crypto, all the OGs, all the best TA guys in this entire space are all in agreement that we are in an interesting time. As we can see, crypto is now in the phase similar to early 2017, when there were 2 bull runs, by the way. BTC dominance, we're hoping, does finally collapse well below that 40% mark. Now this is when Bitcoin dominance right here completely collapsed. And when it collapsed and we had all of this move in the retracement, we had what was called alt season, meaning that all of the altcoins that I just showed you took off hundreds, if not even thousands of percent in a matter of weeks and months. It was a crazy bullish cycle, and if you use that time wisely to compound your returns, you would never have to work again. Now, of course, every couple of years, the opportunity is diminished. So those that are paying attention and stick to this market from today for the next 5 years are going to have the highest level of opportunity. When everybody comes back in, 3 years in 2025, the opportunity is going to be less. So we have to attack now and pay attention and research every single day. Now looking at market cap dominance right here, we have the retest as well. Will we see alt season? That is the question. Now he has this full analysis right here, this giant thread, highly recommend it. And yes, I did in fact retweet it as well. Now, this is shared by Blockchain Backer. This is super interesting. And I saw him highlighting this type of fractal, entertaining the possibility of a double bottom. But what is the macro outlook here? We don't have to know every little thing. It's always going to change to some degree. But what does he see? A retracement coming for Bitcoin, whether that's the 40K mark or all the way up to 60K. What does that mean when Bitcoin's price retraces? I'd assume a lot more money comes back into the altcoin market. And if you're a bear, then you can sell when it retraces. All the novices and beginners, they're selling at these low prices. Now, is it possible we go a little lower? Yeah, absolutely. But I'm not going to be capitulating. I'd be waiting for a retracement to sell my holdings. And me personally, I believe there's going to be altcoins that surpass their previous high. So I'm going to be holding and waiting for them. And then I'm going to stagger my sells out. Also showing this. This was actually posted on the 26th, so entertaining the possibility of a double bottom if it does follow that fractal, which I find to be extremely interesting. Now, regardless, if we can weather the storm, a retracement for Bitcoin most likely will come, guys. We did just crash 50%. We remember what happened when it crashed last time. It crashed 50+%, and then it went on to create another all-time high price. Next up, we have Credible Crypto, another one of my favorites. So check this out. He loaded up the chart to take a look at where we are now since he shared this about 6 weeks ago. Now, his look is that Bitcoin continues its bullish cycle. I know we've shown the dates that each cycle gets longer than the last, and he has this 1, 2, 3, 4, and then of course the 5th wave count with an ABC correction now completed right here. And so Credible Crypto believes that we're going to have this hard retracement and create another all-time high price, or at least this is one of the looks, which is extremely interesting. Now we have Tony from Thinking Crypto, another must follow in this ecosystem. And I love all these guys because they all share their honest opinions, their data, and we all decide for ourselves. We're all trying to make sense and speculate in a speculative market. Let's cut the tribalism and support each other because we're all trying to improve our lives. Tony says, and I think this is pretty funny, this is legit and I'm conflicted between Credible and Blockchain Backers theories. And I'm going to look for confluence between both of these gentlemen. What do they both agree on? Well, they both agree that a retracement is coming for Bitcoin after a 50% crash, and last time I checked, I believe they are both extremely bullish on the altcoin market. I don't think it's too crazy to be bullish on assets that are still well below their all-time high price with assets that are connected to the World Economic Forum. Cough, cough, XRP. Even Algo, HBAR, some of the assets that have not been around for the past 4 or 5 years, but are building amazing things. And there's people that don't even believe in Algorand or HBAR, but they're backed by some of the largest companies in the world. So I wouldn't bet against them. If you're looking for the highest potential return, Moonboy money, you can go gamble with some dog coins, but I want to make sure as an investor that after getting some big wins and putting them into these assets that I retain my money. For me, the worst case is that I have to wait longer. I don't think I'd be losing my investment at all in XRP, XLM, HBAR, or Algo. So just wanted to share that. I did find that funny, but I love seeing the confluence. And I did in fact love this as well. So blockchain backer, as for XRP, sharing this structure within an accumulation, as we can see from the high to the low, hitting the 618, below the 236. We saw Bitcoin do this back in 2018, 2020. We'll see if history repeats. I would love nothing more. Meanwhile, the XRP ledger is continuing on. This is Monica Long of Ripple, by the way. And keep in mind, this is the general manager of RippleX, which is massive. And talking about its native DEX functionality, allowing digital assets like Luna, Solana, and USDC to trade seamlessly across the chain thanks to all of these bridges, such as Allbridge.io. As we can see by RippleX, in a multi-chain world, we're excited to support Allbridge and bring millions of DeFi users to the XRP ledger. Cross-chain Bridge brings XRP to 10 ethereal, virtual machine, and non-EVM compatible blockchains. We'll talk about all the crypto news and fundamentals in the next video because those that actually research, it makes it a lot easier when you're holding throughout the crazy price swings and volatility of this market. My best advice, and not financial advice, is if you are unable to hold an investment for several years, I would recommend not investing at all. For me, everything I'm looking at is with a long-term perspective. All right, and last but not least, we have iTrustCapital. This is for crypto IRAs or crypto 401ks. So if you do want cryptocurrency exposure in any of these types of retirement accounts, my Roth IRA is 100% tax-free, meaning that all the profits are tax-free. I pay 0% on capital gains. So turning $100,000 into $5 million, the millions of dollars in profit, I do not have to pay any taxes on them whatsoever. And this platform raised another $125 million, and they have their valuation as a unicorn company, meaning over $1 billion in valuation. This is going to be one of the biggest platforms in the future, and it's 100% free to use. And once you fund your account, you also get $100 in free Bitcoin. So this will be linked in the top of the video description. So overall, guys, I hope you found this helpful. Be sure to like, subscribe, and until next time.